Hello, here once again, and we're talking about to tattoo or not to tattoo, that's the question, and the booklets by Dr. Terry Watkins. The paragraph we left off with will repeat. By far the most extensive work ever published on tattoos was Dr. W.D. Hamlin's The History of Tattooing and Its Significance. Author Steve Gilbert, in his popular Tattoo History, a source book, writes, Hamlin concluded that, historically, tattooing had originated in connection with ancient rites of scarification and bloodletting. He says, and I quote, Hamlin concluded that historically tattooing had originated in connection with ancient rites of scarification and bloodletting, which were associated with religious practices intended to put the human soul in harmony with supernatural forces and ensure continuity between this life and the next. Now, did you also notice that in the above quote that Hamlin also concluded that tattoos were associated with religious practices? Now I wonder what kind of religious practices would practice bloodletting. Hint, if you forgot, go back and read 1 Kings 18. There's no doubt that the cutting and marking of one's skin, that's tattooing, is connected to and associated with the satanic practice of bloodletting. Author Gilbert again links the tattoo to bloodletting and magic, and even gives an enlightening and frightening description of a modern-day blood-licking satanic tattoo procedure. Notice the connection to the demonic spiritual manifestations, and I quote, this is from Gilbert's work, 181, page 181. In northwest Alaska, traditional practices of tattoo and ritually induced bleeding were often related and may have even overlapped to some extent. Around Bering Strait, shamans commonly performed bloodletting to relieve aching or inflamed parts of the body. Nelson watched a shaman lancing the scalp of a little girl's head, the long, thin iron point of the instrument being thrust 12 to 15 times between the scalp and skull, which is the identical technique for tattooing. It is plausible that the release of blood functioned to appease various ills and spiritual manifestations. For instance, several St. Lawrence Islanders explained to me the importance of licking the blood that was released during tattoo operations. My goodness. May I again remind you, all this information is from books promoting and glorifying the tattoo. They're not against it, they're glorifying it. These are not Christian authors writing with anti-tattoo slant, but this is hard documented facts from tattoo artists, tattoo historians, and people who endorse tattoos. You can try to justify and close your eyes to these documented facts, but the fact is the tattoo started from satanic bloodletting. Remember 1 Kings 18:28 says, and they cried aloud and cut themselves after the manner with knives and lances till the blood gushed out upon them. Mark 5:6 says, and always night and day he was in the mountains and in the tombs crying and cutting himself with stones. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Remember those things? Tattoos and the cup of devils. Throughout history, the tattoo bears the mark of paganism, demonism, Baal worship, shamanism, mysticism, heathenism, cannibalism, and just about every other pagan belief known. The tattoo has never been associated with Bible-believing Christians. And whenever and wherever in history Christianity appears, tattoos disappear. Let me reread that. And whenever and wherever in history Christianity appears, tattoos disappear. The only exception is the 21st century. Lukewarm, carnal, disobedient, Laodicean Christians. Imagine that. The birth of the tattoo always produces the fruits of pagan religion and mysticism, without exception. Research after research, study after study, book after book, the roots of the tattoo never wavers. The following documentation is just a small, very small drop of the ocean of research documenting the pagan and demonic source of the tattoo. Please remember, the following documentation is from pro tattoo books, simply documenting the obvious spiritual and religious link to the tattoo. These are not Christian writers trying to point a negative portrait of the tattoo. No matter how much the carnal, rebellious Christian desires to justify their perverse reasoning for marking themselves with the forbidden demonic tattoo, the facts are loud and clear, backed by tons of research and documentation by the leading pro-tattoo authorities on the planet. The foundation, or origin, meaning, and purposes of the tattoo is pagan. Demonism, shamanism, Baal worship, and occult mysticism. A tattooist in many cultures is also a shaman, magic man, priest or priestess. According to the dictionary, a shaman is an intermediator between the natural and supernatural worlds, using magic to cure illness, foretell the future, control spiritual forces, etc. Tattooing is often a magical rite in the more traditional cultures, and the tattooist is respected as a priest or shaman, according to DeLeo 73. Also Scott, 64. In Fiji, these are footnotes from this book if you want to get it. In Fiji, Formosa, New Zealand, and in certain North American Indian tribes, tattooing was regarded as a religious ceremony and performed by priests or priestesses. Another one by Gilbert. The actual tattooing process, which involves complex ritual and taboos, could only be done by priests, was associated with beliefs which were secrets known only to members of the priestly estate. Hamlin concluded that historically tattooing had originated in connection with ancient rites of scarification and bloodletting, which were associated with religious practices intended to put the human soul in harmony with supernatural forces and ensure continuity between this life and the next. The tattooist or shaman or the cult priest many times uses the tattoo as a point of contact or inlets into the spiritual world. The tattoo is much more than just a bloody decoration. It's more than just a layer of ink cut into the skin. In fact, the tattoo in every culture, in every country, up until the 21st century, was a vehicle for pagan spiritual and religious invocations. Even today, in many countries, including the United States, a tattoo is believed to be a bridge into the supernatural world, which an author, Laurie Cabot, agrees with the origin of the tattoo. The origins of tattooing come from ancient magical practices. And I'm quoted in the book by Burns. According to Amy Krakow, in her popular The Total Tattoo Book, through the ages, tattooing has had well-defined roles, marking a rite of passage at a stage of life, calling the spirits proudly, defiantly, or sneaky, showing who you are via body art. That's pretty much how the tattoo tradition evolved, and it's pretty much the way it remains. Krakow. Many native tribes practice therapeutic tattooing. The Ojibwe, for instance, tattooed the temples, forehead, and cheeks of those suffering from headaches and toothaches that were believed to be caused by malevolent spirits. Songs and dances that were supposed to exorcise the demons accompanying the tattooing ceremony. Gilbert. Also from DeLeo, tattooing is about personalizing the body, making it a true home and fit temple for the spirit that dwells inside. Tattooing, therefore, is a way of keeping the spiritual and material needs of the body in balance. Krakow again, getting a tattoo is ritual, with the tattooist a shaman who offers the magic. Among today's latest tattoo craze is tribal tattoos. The tribal tattoo is pure paganism. Tribal tattoos are designed that bear serious symbolic, mystical, and occult meanings. Tribal tattoos are open doors for spiritual and demonic possession, and we'll continue the next 10 minutes, probably next week. And just want you to know that there's a connection between the spiritual and the physical. There's a connection between demonic forces and you wanting to hurt yourself and paint yourself. And there's a disgruntlency involved there where you don't like the way your body is. You're self-absorbed with yourself and you're trying to show off. You better be careful. This is true stuff. This is the truth from tattoo artists and the Bible. And we're going to continue. Have a good day.